And what is going on, guys? You're listening to the Realest Podcast, and welcome to the Hell in a Cell edition of the Realest Podcast. And before we start this, not this coming up week, but next week we'll be back on our regular schedule of going live on Monday Night Raw, SmackDown, and having our weekly shows. That is next big thing. That is also the video game show of Endgame, and then obviously keeping it real on Saturdays. But I'm joined by Kyle and Andrew, as always, and what is your take on this tonight's pay-per-view in general? As a whole, what do you guys think?
I really did think it was a great show. I mean, three main events, it was great. End of the last match of the night, main event in the women, was an amazing idea because they definitely lived up to the potential. And I thought it was an amazing match. I didn't like the outcome, which we'll get into, but some of the outcomes were a little bit off. I'm not sure why they did some of them, but a lot of them were good. I thought tonight was a great night.
For me, it's just like I would think that the beginning of the pay-per-view is a little slow. Other than that, once it hit to the Cruiserweight Championship match, from there on, it seemed like it was stellar. It's just the only thing that like upsets me towards the end of the main event there was that the Charlotte Sasha match just did not end the way that anybody really wanted it. I know Boston is probably rioting as we speak.
Yeah, as a whole, I thought the pay-per-view wasn't great. I thought the women's match was, the women's match, and I'm sorry, I'm also watching the Cowboys Eagles game as this is happening. If anyone is wondering if I'm not like crazy, Dallas just tied it up. I hope because Dan Bailey's got to make the field goal. So back to the point, I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I obviously No Mercy was better storytelling wise. The Intercontinental Championship made that pay-per-view great. The Universal Championship was more of risky spots, as in going through tables and stuff. Hopefully that's the end of Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens for a little bit. Obviously, we're probably going to get the story of Jericho versus Seth Rollins now. United States Championship was, of course, always So, women's match, we can hop into that because that's the major, going to be the major talk of the night. What do you guys think of the beginning of it? We can start with the entrances too, if you guys want to.
Yeah, the beginning, I thought it was good. I liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It was a great way to end off the night. It really was, giving the women finally the chance they deserve to main event. And I was worried they weren't going to live up to the expectations, but they really did, and then some. The entrances, alone, already to start off with that, like you said, were really cool. Sasha did hers from Takeover, where she came in the SUV and the bodyguards. And Charlotte was cool. She came in on a throw and getting carried out. That was perfect for her character. So, starting off the night, it was already great, starting off the match. And then the end of it, like I said, the outcome kind of sucked. The match was great, but the outcome, I don't understand at all. The outcome messes with me, perplexes me. I don't understand at all. Why give Charlotte the title again? She doesn't need it. There's no reason for her to have it again. This was tonight. This was the perfect situation for Sasha to win. She got powerbombed through a table. She came back out, said, forget that. No, I'm not going back. I'm going to keep wrestling. In her hometown, this was her night so that she could come out on top and prove she deserves this title.
Well, like the thing that I noticed about it was right before the end of the match, you see Charlotte talk to Sasha. And like I don't know if Sasha was like, we got to end this now, I'm in pain, or like what's going on here, because it just seemed like Charlotte wasn't supposed to win, but something might have happened during the match which changed management's decision to let Charlotte win.
The beginning of that was 100% a work.
Fixed job. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
But I mean, during the match is what I'm
wouldn't.
thinking.
I wouldn't say 100% that it was, the same thing as it was a throw off of the Foley and Undertaker match.
Yeah.
Because Charlotte was about to be, introduced as the champion, and then boom, she, gets out. Sasha gets off of the stretcher, and I'm gonna wrestle, blah blah blah. So there was a few botches, and it kind of, in a way, you could throw in, this is why women should not be in a Hell in a Cell. The table botch was big, and then they tried it again. Going into it, if you looked at Charlotte breathing as the cell is being lowered, it's crazy because you can tell how nervous she is. Sasha hit hers a
Mhm.
little bit, but the breathing from Charlotte, deep breathing, because she knew what was about to happen, what they were about to get
Yeah,
themselves
because it's a
into.
big deal, man. Yeah, not just being in the cell, but living up to the expectations that everyone set for them. Not just are they going to be the first one in a Hell in a Cell, but they're going to be the first ones to ever main event a pay per view, especially like this one. Main eventing where there was a lot of great matches on the card, and they got to main event it. So there was huge expectation to live up to, and they did it though. So I mean, the breathing can chill, they can calm down. They did it, and Monday Night Raw is going to be extremely interesting because their careers and them as people just elevated them after tonight. Like they are in a huge position already. They were already amazing. Now they have really they have really I can't talk. Exceeded their expectations. I apologize.
I
Speaking
honestly
of,
don't.
hang on. Kyle, I called it.
What?
What have I said for a long time now? Women will main event a pay per view.
I didn't think it'd be this soon though. I thought it
I
would
didn't
take a
either.
while.
Now, Andrew, what were you
And
going to
you
say?
just shot it up here.
Well, I mean, we were talking about the ideas of the botches and how it kind of like took away from the match, but the botches that I saw really don't contribute to the idea of women shouldn't do this type of wrestling. No, if you look at the first botch, I mean the first botch I can make excuses for like till the cows come home, but that first botch where the table broke on them, like the legs gave out, that happens all the time. It just they needed a new table. So I mean, obviously, what was supposed to happen was, Sasha was supposed to fall on it and it was supposed to stay up, and Charlotte was probably going to try to do like a moonsault or something.
Yeah.
But
No, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
it just for what it was and for how nervous they were, the botches weren't as bad as they could have been. Now I don't know what they were trying to do that second time. I can't excuse the second one. The second one, it looked like she was going to do a moonsault, and then Sasha decided to pull it out. I guess thinking that she was going to hit the running power bomb, and then Charlotte, just decided, hey, I'm just going to throw her on the table a few times, and if it breaks, it breaks. If it doesn't, I'm just gonna end it. Yeah, I felt like they had to use the table, that the crowd kind of earned it at that point, and I feel like that was the bigger letdown of the match. Not that the table was botched, but the fact that they didn't see it through when they could have easily done it. If Charlotte was supposed to win, she could have easily suplexed her through the table and then had Sasha roll off, and then she could have done the national selection. So I mean, that's just the way I look at it.
I honestly don't think it's as historic as everyone is wanting to make it seem. It was an Extreme Rules match with a cage around it for looks. Not to mention, I wouldn't say there was a bunch of botches, but like this is a big reason I don't think women should be doing what they did tonight. It's they're them doing it historic, yes, but this right there, how they Charlotte would take hits from the cage, off the cage, and you could just totally tell there. It was like there's no way to prepare for that. But my goodness, they were gassed. The last 10 minutes, they were gassed. They were done.
Mm. I mean, that's the type of match that you need to work up to instead of just being like tossed into it like they were. I mean, I honestly would have liked to see like a ladder match before a Hell in a Cell match, but the occasion called for it, and I mean, botches aside, you guys have to admit they delivered. They really did. I totally agree. I actually am looking up a poll right now on Facebook, and just like they did for the No Mercy show, like what do you think was the highlight of the pay per view? And 47% of people said it was the Sasha Charlotte match, and 36% said it was the Kevin Owens Seth Rollins match, which both matches were phenomenal. But I mean, I have to agree, the women did tear their house down again.
You really think so?
I do. I do. I was impressed by the match. I think that all things considered, they did all they wanted to do, or tried to do everything that they wanted to do. The thing that I didn't like about the Universal title match was how they involved Chris Jericho again. Like that match for me was match of the night up until Chris Jericho got involved. And then from there, it's just kind of like, okay, well now I know how this match is going to go. And like at the end of the match, you just see them just ganging up on Seth Rollins, which is, you could say, is a typical heel thing, whatever. But for me, it took away from the match itself, having it basically be a handicap match.
Well, Kyle, what about you? Do you think the women really tore the house down? Like, what's your take?
Oh, absolutely. I definitely think they tore the house, and especially with all the matches they competed with, I definitely think they. I mean, I think that was match of the night, or at least that was up there definitely with the Universal Championship match. But I do agree with Andrew though, saying that Chris Jericho getting involved, as great as he's been lately, it definitely like made the match lower on the card, kind of thing, in my opinion. It was not necessary. I get the whole storyline behind it. I get that's the reason they did it, but they should have left it as a one-on-one and just let them keep tearing the house down. Because, like Andrew said, Jericho coming out really left a bad taste in my mouth. So, I mean, the women's match, I would definitely give that match of the night already. That was an amazing match. They definitely did tear the house down.
Wow. I mean, I think the women's match had spots. I thought the Universal title match through thick and thin was good. In my opinion, it was just another Extreme Rules match. But when it came to the women's match, it had its spots. Like the body slam into the into the table. The botch on the table would have been really good. It had its spots. I can't, Sasha getting a steel chair, getting out of the figure eight. I don't know. There were other matches, obviously. I wasn't too crazy with the main event. I'm glad they did it. I think they had to do something special for them, the main event, obviously. They couldn't have done just a regular match, but what do you guys think? Do we have another Charlotte versus Sasha Banks match? Because, of course, she's owed a rematch.
Yeah, unfortunately, I mean, I don't want to say unfortunately, but this feud has obviously it's been great. I've loved every minute of it, but it's getting to the point where I think they're trying to really squeeze every drop out of it when they shouldn't. Like they should have left off tonight where Sasha won and then just move on. But for some reason they had Charlotte win. Now Sasha gets a rematch, and then what are we going to see Sasha titling and we're just going to see a big hot potato with the championship? No, as great, like I said, as great as this feud has been, they should have just let it be done tonight. It would have been a perfect way to end it. But for some reason, they have Charlotte win, so I guess we're going to see another match in this series.
And I'm gonna interrupt here, and I'm sorry, I know Andrew.
No, you're fine.
But speaking of this, don't forget, and this is if you guys do not know, Survivor Series will be 4 hours long, so you can throw in a title match there for a 4-hour pay-per-view. But if that is the case, Charlotte better win that match.
Oh, watch it. It's probably not going to happen. I mean, there's no reason for Charlotte to steal the title. She's had it for so long, and she's fine. She can go without it now. Like, give Sasha the chance. But they might just do the same thing at Survivor Series. It's quite possible.
Here's the problem that I have with it. After tonight, how do you top tonight? Think about it. They've had 2 really epic Monday Night Raw matches. Epic. And then they top it off with the Hell in a Cell. Honestly, that should be the curtain call for their rivalry, at least for now.
Exactly.
It's unfortunate now because Charlotte is champion, so now Sasha is owed a rematch. Whether or not that actually happens is totally up to the writing staff. But I don't know. It's just like, for me as a fan, I saw the main event tonight.
You
It
saw the
should
best
be
it could
over.
be.
As best as they could be right now. And I say that as right now because they could have another match. Like, I mean, I could definitely see a ladder match. But after doing a Hell in a Cell match for the first time ever, you can't follow it up at Survivor Series and say, oh, well, we're going to do a ladder match. Like, you need to kind of, like, mellow it out. You got to have a little break from it. And for me to see that as a singles match, anything less than something special at this point, it's just like, I've already seen your best. Let's move on. And that's my problem with it. I really think that they can't afford to go back to a singles match, but that's the only way they can really progress because they don't want to overdo it. Because the women wrestling in a match like this is special. If you start having them wrestling that match every pay-per-view, you're going to lose that special feeling out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Speaking of pay-per-views, Sasha's only won her titles on Raw.
Yes. Charlotte, as of right now, is 14-0. 14-0. Really let that sink in. 14-0 at a pay-per-view. A pay-per-view. She has not lost since the beginning of her career in WWE in a pay-per-view event. 14-0. She's 13-2. Actually, I guess you could say it's 14-2 now at title matches. For title defenses, it's 13-2.
But
She's
Think
the
about
golden
that.
girl.
I wouldn't
That
say
is
she's
a
the golden
record.
golden girl. Excuse me.
I don't know,
But
man.
that is a record that John Cena does not hold. That is a record that Ric Flair does not hold. Stone Cold Steve Austin, Undertaker, all those names. Think about that. And Charlotte has a better starting record than all of them.
Okay, I'm just gonna let everyone know we're gonna be taking a quick pause. Oh, you guys won't notice, but I'm gonna take a quick pause real quick. I gotta use the bathroom. It's really bad, so we'll be back.
Because they have no one else to put there. That's the problem with SmackDown Live. They have no one.
And we're back.
No one.
Cesaro.
No warning.
And we're back.
No warning.
And we're back.
So, good
No
news,
warning.
guys. Cowboys won.
Also-
So it wasn't dumb to do that.
They didn't know that though.
Yeah, Mr. I'm going to the
Well, Mr. Poop.
bathroom.
Now you lied to our viewers. See what you did.
Oh man, just stressed out.
Losing
now.
some credibility here.
So yeah, how about Hell in a Cell?
Well, there was obviously other matches than the match we've been talking about, but
Mhm.
but let's go back to this topic. I don't think we really got into it. Survivor Series possibly being 4 hours. Do we see the rematch happen?
I say
I
no.
guarantee. Yeah, I think so.
But who wins? Because Survivor Series it's a good 2 or 3 weeks away.
The issue is, yeah, I'm sorry, but I want Sasha to be champion, but I also want the feud to just end. It's like a Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn kind of thing feud. The feud is amazing, it's great to see, but it needs to go away for a bit. It's getting like to the point where you've done almost everything with it. Let it go, let it just, and then you can bring it back sometime in like the next few months, even a year, whatever. Bring it back at WrestleMania, that's fine. But for now, the feud needs to end. So as much as I want Sasha to be champion, if it does happen at Survivor Series again, then we need to see Charlotte just retain it and just move on.
You do realize the title has changed hands, 3 times now?
Yeah,
Within
it's
this rivalry?
ridiculous.
So I'm going to say for the sake of the title and for the credibility of the title, Charlotte needs to win if there is a match. As much as everybody wants Sasha to get the title and hold it until WrestleMania where she could face Bayley and have the dream match of a lifetime, I think Bayley versus Sasha is not happening at this point. Just what happened tonight. I feel like it's more like along the lines of Bayley versus Charlotte.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't. If they're gonna give Sasha the title, do it again on Monday Night Raw. Have her win the pay-per-view. She's 0 for 2 at pay-per-views. Make it a story. She can't finish at a pay-per-view. End it. Because everyone wants to see Bayley versus Sasha at WrestleMania. Raise your hand or
Yeah,
say
but
if you don't.
everybody does. But here's the thing: doesn't it devalue the title to have it change hands for yet a fourth time? I mean, that's almost like what happened with the hardcore title. That one time where it passed hands like what 12 times in one pay-per-view. It's they're playing hot potato with the title, and it's just taking away from the title that they worked so hard to build up. This isn't the Divas title championship, it's the women's championship.
Yeah, I mean, you could also throw up the argument that the women's division on Raw took a step back today with the back and forth action of this title.
I mean, yeah, you can make that argument, but I feel like if they change course again and do it again and have Sasha win again, I feel like that's the official marking of the devaluing of the title.
Well, let's do this. Let's. I don't know, man. I think they need to stick with someone and just stick it out. Bayley
Yeah.
needs to make her mark up. I don't. You could throw her in the mix at WrestleMania to have her win the title, or you can have her make a run after. But
Well,
I don't know. Go ahead.
who do you put in that title picture at WrestleMania, if not Bayley?
Well, at this point, if it's Charlotte, you could throw up Dana Brooke. As crazy as nobody here wants to hear that, it's what you could do.
Yes.
She would need a big build-up, though, because
for
it'll take a
Royal
while. She's
Rumble?
coming off a loss already tonight.
For Royal Rumble, 100%. I humbly agree. You need to sever that relationship. Have Dana Brooke. If Dana Brooke had won tonight,
Are they still
absolutely.
even best friends at this point?
No, they're just.
No.
I mean, come on. Kevin Owens and Chris Jericho are best friends.
Oh my God.
I mean, they're the best of friends. But this whole thing with Dana Brooke and Charlotte at this point is just. Yeah, I know it's funny. At this point, it's just she's abusing her. So you're just waiting for her to snap. And we thought we saw that last month. Yes, we could see a pay-per-view with that happening, but for Mania though, I feel like that would be a big letdown and a big step back to have Dana Brooke in the women's championship main event, because the Raw Women's Championship is going to go on.
Don't forget,
before SmackDown.
You also cannot forget that there is one more pay-per-view before WrestleMania. That is Fastlane and Roadblock. They have not announced which one is which though. For Raw.
Right. But for Mania, do not put up Dana Brooke. Unless she gets better miraculously within the next few months, which I doubt.
I 100%.
Well, if we have a face champion, we could throw out Nia Jax, because she's been like a dark horse on it, because we haven't seen her in a bit. But I mean, she could easily be in a title picture soon. If we have a face champion, or even if it is Charlotte as a champion, still, Nia could just go in there and be like just a wrecking machine and just destroy her and take the title.
I think it's too soon for Nia still.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's a possibility. I've seen things happen.
You got to be smart about it. You can't take a step back, and I feel like Dana Brooke for Mania would be a big step back, especially for Charlotte at this point. I think they made a mistake. I think they trapped themselves. And I mean, I want to hear what you guys think. I mean, if you guys think that this was a mistake what they did tonight, let us know. But for me personally, I feel like this is a step back. Charlotte should have retained the title, or not Charlotte. Sasha should have retained the title. Charlotte should have not won that title. It just overcomplicates things. It's almost the New Day, right? The New Day are the champions again. As awesome as it is, because there's a lot of people who like to see the New Day as a champion, like my sister included. It's just really, it's like you got that weird taste in your mouth, like again. Ugh.
Well,
I can't do it.
Well, this will be the last thing we can talk about for the women's division. We've talked everything that we could about the match and everything. So, what about this? Is it possible that we get another triple threat match at WrestleMania?
I'd settle for that. I'd settle for that. But
just
and
it could be them playing it safe.
yeah,
But
I don't know.
speaking of the New
I'm
Day,
just frustrated with it. So
New Day retaining the tag team titles of
Oh my.
another heelish way of a
yes, they did.
disqualification. Technically, the
Oh man.
It was another James
Sheamus
Ellsworth thing. Come
and
on.
Cesaro won, but since it was disqualification, they do not have the titles. New Day retained in a heelish way once again. And again, it's going to the point of the New Day, who have not done anything for the Raw titles, are again your champions, and they're also doing heelish things. I honestly thought it's come to the point where, if you're a betting man, who's the safest bet? I've come to the
New Day.
realization that New Day is one of the safest bets to make.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Well, I mean,
I don't understand it.
to say that they won again by heelish means, I feel like that's an understatement because of the way the match ended. Is like Sheamus, coming in with the trumpet or the trombone and just hitting them, and then Kofi Kingston ducking out of the way, hitting him with Trouble in Paradise, and then looking up, and it's James Ellsworth all over again, guys. It's James Ellsworth. Oops, the referee spotted me. My bad. Wasn't meant to happen, but I'm defending myself. I'm being bullied by Sheamus. I'm being bullied by AJ Styles, so I'm just gonna hit him with the no chin music and knock his lights out. Oh, the ref spotted me. Does that make me a heel? No. That just means you got caught making a mistake.
But the issue with it is that the New Day. This isn't the first time the New Day has done this, though.
Oh
That's the
no.
thing.
But in this instant, that was just a mistake on their part. Like whoops.
True, but the idea though is that even though the way it happened, for some people, what they will think, I guarantee some people will think that the way it happened is irrelevant. It's at another time where the New Day wins by disqualification to retain their titles, where they're getting to the point where okay, they're just going to keep doing whatever it takes to keep their titles.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think Cesaro and Sheamus are kind of over. They're almost getting to the point where they are over, but I don't either. I think it's time. I've said this for a while, and I've of course bet against it. The New Day need to lose the titles. I don't know if they need to repackage because they are still over, but what do you do here?
Well, I mean, they just held the titles for an over excessive amount of time, and we were all predicting that Cesaro and Sheamus were going to win it because it's like the Team Hell No story. The two people that didn't want to be together end up winning the title miraculously. It's just
And look how great a win for Team Hell No.
yeah, but that was Team Hell No with Daniel Bryan and Kane, two people who really know how to capture an audience. Sheamus, he knows how to capture an audience. Don't get me wrong with that. It's just the team of Sheamus and Cesaro was forced down our throats almost like Roman Reigns. And I hate to bring it up like that. It's a Roman Reigns situation. I kind of feel like I've been chipped by Mick Foley and by Monday Night Raw because Monday Night Raw, promised us that, whoever won that feud was supposed to get a future opportunity. And Mick Foley was just like,
Well, they both got an opportunity if we're
put
actually
you
going to
together.
play it.
Yeah,
They got a title
we're
opportunity right off the bat.
We're just going to throw you guys together and, make a tag team out of it. And that's good. But, for me, I feel kind of cheated because, again, Cesaro has been slighted an opportunity at a major title, which could have gone somewhere. Instead, they're going to put him with Sheamus, who, at this point, people are sick of him. And Sheamus is just there. I don't even want to say he's a jobber at this point. He's just there. It's such a turnoff that these two are getting put together and kind of forced fed down my throat.
Right. I think Cesaro and with what they're doing, I like it. I don't think they need the titles. I thought tonight was really a really good match. I honestly thought that Xavier was going to tap. To be completely honest with you, I thought he was going to tap, but of course, we got what we got. But obviously, we're going to have that match again at Survivor Series. Again, Survivor Series will be 4 hours long. So remember, people that didn't like SummerSlam because it was too much wrestling, we're going to get a takeover event Saturday night. We're going to get a 4-hour pay-per-view Sunday, with more than likely the main event being Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar.
Easily.
And another developing thing, and then we can finish up here. WrestleMania has changed up its weekend. Friday night will be the Hall of Fame. Saturday will be Takeover. Sunday, obviously being WrestleMania, they switched to Hall of Fame and Takeover, which is a good for
Yeah.
business. Gives them a lot of be able to sell more tickets. But let's talk about Dana Brooke and Bayley. Nothing to really talk about. She sold the arm injury. Bayley won that one quickly. And I think there's only one more match to talk about. Oh no, we have the Cruiserweight Classic or Cruiserweight match, title match. Did you guys hear whenever they were outside the ring, one guy say, "Cut your fucking hair, you hippie," talking about Brian Kendrick?
Yeah,
I found that funny.
that was hilarious. I don't know, with that match, it was expected. But, like, for me, I'm kind of disappointed that they handed the title away that quickly.
Yeah,
I
I
felt
don't
like
know.
I felt like he could have had a better run with it.
Before you
Well,
go
I
in,
thought it was a
Kyle,
great way to keep the feud going. Sorry.
you're good. I was going to say that Brian Kendrick needed the win.
Oh,
No,
of
yeah,
course he did.
definitely. And it's a great way to keep the feud going. That's the big thing.
I mean, that was all I was going to say. You can keep going.
Oh.
I mean, that's all I
Well, I
can
mean,
say
yeah,
about it,
just
man.
yeah. I mean, there's not a whole lot to say about it. The feud has been great lately, and would I like to see T.J. Perkins have a longer run with the title? Yeah, but we could easily see a Sasha Charlotte situation where like we see Brian Kendrick take the title and then lose it pretty soon. Again, and then give it back to TJP, and then the feud could end after that, like after the rematch kind of thing. But this feud right now is the best thing, and I also think because the cruiserweight division is really new, I think a lot of the guys on there need more time to, I want to say, develop and get on more of a winning streak, so that one of them is in line for a title shot. So I mean, I really do like this like feud keep on going though. So that's why I
To-
mean I'm okay with Brian Kendrick winning. Do I want to see TJP win again? Yeah, but I'm okay with it so far.
Tony Nese, man, I'm impressed by Tony Nese. I think he has a great future as a heel.
Oh, absolutely, he's amazing. He's one of the best guys in the cruiserweight division. It's amazing what he can pull off.
Well, like you guys said, there's not a lot to talk about when it comes to this match. Obviously, Brian Kendrick winning off of a very heelish move. I loved it. Acting like he was hurt, TJ Perkins being a great friend, making sure he's okay, and then boom, into Brian Kendrick's submission move. Now then, United States Championship, Roman Reigns versus Rusev will be the final match we
Boring
talk about.
match.
Boring match.
Boring match.
Kyle, anything you want to say before we get to the end of this?
I mean, not really, man. The other matches on there, like the tag team match and U.S. Championship match, I mean, they were good. Nothing to really like freak out over. Good way to start off the night for the U.S. title and then tag team. I mean, it
I
was
say
okay.
that's a lose for Roman Reigns, though. Like, even though he took it away, like, if you heard the building, it was ridiculous. Roman Reigns was getting booed so hardcore. Worse than normal. Like, people were cheering for Rusev.
It was pretty mixed for me.
It's like it
Who
seemed
were
for
the
me that it was
children
more for
cheering for
Roman
Raw?
Reigns.
So I have a John
Of all
Cena
kids.
joke for everyone.
Alright.
John Cena wakes up in the hospital. John says, "Where am I?" Nurse says, "I see you." John Cena says, "No, you can't."
Yeah.
You suck. How long were you thinking of that? You just looked that up. You just looked that up, didn't you?
No, I was actually scrolling through social media
I don't know.
Yeah, there you go.
and saw it.
You stupid.
I don't know. I was more like for the overall for this pay per view. I was just disappointed with
Yeah,
the way with the finishes of some of these matches. Just
we've
like,
said that a lot, haven't we?
I'm like, well,
I think the whole night was like great matches, but disappointing outcomes.
yeah.
That's the entire night.
Like the only thing that really needed to happen that really made a huge deal was Brian Kendrick winning. the Cruiserweight Championship. Like,
Yeah.
oh wow, that was kind of needed. New Day, Roman Reigns,
Yeah,
I'd
so,
rather Roman win
the
than
end of
do
the
that.
Sasha match.
what would you guys rate this pay per view on a scale of 1 to 10? And we can end this.
That's good. I'll let you pick Andrew because I'm still thinking about mine.
Compared to No Mercy, which in my opinion was easily an 8 or a 9, especially with the Ziggler match, the Ziggler Miz match. I'm gonna go with the safe bet here and say 6.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I mean, thinking about taking into account the outcomes and how the matches were like, and the matches themselves, I'd give it a 7. Because the matches, like I said, were great, but the outcomes, like pretty much all of them, were just so disappointing.
I'm going to have to give it a 5. I think
Really?
Hell in a
I,
Cell, you
I could
know,
see it. I could see it.
everything with Hell in a Cell and it being the way it was. The women, in a way, they did make history main eventing the pay per view and also being in the first Hell in a Cell. Yeah, I'm going to give it, that's where all the 5 points are honestly going to go. I wouldn't say all outcome wise is why I'm giving it. I'm going to say because of some spot. There's the only reason that match was as good as it was because of a few spots. I think it would have been a lot better out, if they would have just wrestled regularly. But I get why they did it to main event. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a 5. But before I do let everyone go again, not this week, but next week we'll be live back with our regular schedule. Monday, Tuesday being live, Wednesday, Thursdays being next big thing. Also Thursdays are in game, and then Saturday keeping it real. We might do keeping it real this week. I have not. We might because there is actually a lot to talk about that we have not talked about.
Yes.
For Kyle,
I would
what's
I
up?
would I would err towards the side of we are going to do it because I know I'm going to be on you guys to do it. I'm
All right.
excited, man. I'm ready to go, dude.
So am I. So am I. So until then, for Kyle and Andrew, I'm Blake Carter, and this was the Hell in a Cell edition of the Realest Podcast. Peace out.